ideas. Yeah, so what we're going to work on is some spoons and swedges. I'm looking on my table here, and I'm going to try just turning the camera around, so like that. So I just keep it right where it is. So this is what we're working with. Made this guy. I was going to demo at the NWVA or teach at the spring conference. So I was making these guys to bring down and use in the class. So I thought I'd go ahead and just do the demo. So what I start with is this guy. It's about, so we're about 2 inches, an inch thick. And then almost 3 inches long. And that's just a little bit bigger than the spoon. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the forge, and then we'll talk about the process. So I don't have to wait for the heat to catch up. Okay, so first off, you've got to start off with a positive. And I've done 2 different styles of positives here. This one I made right here in this swedge. So I just took a chunk of steel, calculated it out roughly, heated it up, pounded it in, and then ground it off to get all the inclusions out of it, and then pounded it again to kind of make it better, tidy it up more. And then I found with the back of the spoons, you want to have this little bit of a detail for strength, right? Upward, backwards. So I decided I needed a way to relieve in the swedge. So I just welded this little piece of 1/4 inch on. It's just a scab, real quick little deal to see how it's going to work. And it works pretty good, but I didn't weld it at the very tip. You can kind of see there. So I'm not sure if it'll go starting from scratch. These guys were all done previous, and then I just went in and set that guy. So we'll see how it works out. So this one was made in the swedge. And then this one, because part of my product line is just spoons, bigger serving spoons, I needed a positive so that I could make this guy and do my stainless bowls, because I was hand sinking these and it was taking a really long time. So I thought, well, let's try this. Never done it before, and gave it a go. So what I did was I built this jig. This is just a piece of 5/16 or something like that. And I made it so this would screw to the back. You can see the halo a little bit. And so I drew this out on paper, that profile, and then this profile, and obviously that profile, and cut it out of a fairly large chunk. I don't remember what kind of steel it was, and ground it by hand. So it was a fairly laborious process to get that one, but it came out really good. And these spoon bowls, that's just textured and pressed. Boom, done. No big deal. I heat them up and then take and drive this in with a hammer. Just looking at names coming up on the screen. Good morning, John. So yeah, that's how it goes. So these guys just set in here. They fill the space almost perfectly. Put this guy on top, bam, down it goes. Really easy, really effective. So then with this guy, I put a little cleat on the back so I can mount it in the vise. So I can do that because we're going to need it there anyway. So that's that. It's ready to go. And then this is a spoon I made last night. It's kind of the last test. So you just set it on it like that, and when it's red hot, and then just with your hammers, drive it down in there. And it'll come out like that. And these guys I've been doing these spoons, sorry for the flip around, I started doing the demo about a year ago. I only made about 10 something of them. And every time I do it, I learn something new. So this trip around, I was having problems with, I don't know if you can see it, cold shut right there. So I wanted to figure a way to get around that. And I used to go in, and I've got a demo piece here. I'm not used to this left or right, going backwards. Catch up. So that back end, wait, right there, if it's too sharp, it collapses on itself and causes a cold shut. So I started out just doing it like you would a normal leaf, way you'd start a leaf off the side of the anvil with a half base blow. And I realized that angle was a little too steep. So I decided I'd try something new. Let me go over to the anvil and give a little more context here. So starting with a regular leaf, half base blow, like that, and then like that, I was too steep. And if I wasn't, I'd have to be way up like this. And that just didn't seem comfortable. So then I decided to try it on this side and do the same thing. And the angle got better. But then there we go. By then, the back angle back here was too steep. So I had to come in like this and kind of work both sides at the same time. So that's what I'll be showing. But I wanted to show you this guy just because I don't know if you'll be able to see all this stuff as I'm doing this, because it's kind of far away. I don't know, the video doesn't pick up very well. I saw a comment from Hunter asking about the steel I'm using. For the spoons, I prefer to use, let me turn this around. For the spoons, I prefer to use 1018, just as a forging exercise, because the 836 can crack in just weird ways. You know, it's kind of a junk metal, so the forging consistency of the 1018 for something that is going to be moving this much, I find it's a better material. For the other spoons, my serving spoon, I use 410 stainless because it's a spring stainless, so I feel that it's going to be a stronger product. So that's what I'm going with that. So let's see. I've got my pieces getting hot. So the process I'm going to do for now, switch this thing around again. I'm going to take this and sink it into that block, but I'm going to start it on the press because it gives me time to really get it bent. And my press isn't that powerful, so it won't push it all the way in. I gotta put my block in there still. Bear with me a sec. Is that?
Oh yeah, the view is great. We can see your hammer and everything.
Good.
We're ready for you to roll whenever you're ready.
There's the steel. And it may get a little bit loud, a little shaky, a little nervous. Hey, that should do it. Move forward a little bit. Okay.
And can you remind us what tool you're using right now there, Peter?
It's a hydraulic press, a not very powerful one. So basically, I just want to get an indent, as you can see it. So when I go to the power hammer, I can just jump on it and not have to try to get it located first. Other people may have a better way. This is the way that works for me for now. So I get one of Glenn Gilmore's presses.
Glenn Gilmore built that press, you said?
No, I would like to get one.
Oh.
This one I got at an auction in Reno 10 years ago. Can't really see it in the light. It's just a big old behemoth thing. I don't even know what they built it for. It's got a really bizarre plumbing system on it with an accumulator.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild one.
Glenn's in the audience. He's giving you a double thumbs up right now.
I know he is. I saw his name on the list. Morning, Glenn. Okay, so I'm back in the fire. You can't see it, but it's there. I'm going to try another location that I think works here. Kind of gets you the hammer and the anvil at the same time.
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot. Nice,
So,
nice row of hammers there.
Thanks, man. It's awesome. Actually, I use them all the time. And the greatest thing about having 3 hammers is I can deck them out with 3 different die combinations. So I go to one, move the metal big time, go to the other, kind of tighten it up a little bit and go to that one and refine it, or I could use that for a texture. It's awesome. Really, really nice. I feel very lucky to have 3 in a row.
We'll do the full shop tour later because I know there's people out there wondering right now.
Yeah. I imagine. Yeah, we will. We'll do it at the end. Clean my dies off.
And Peter, I don't know how great your audio is going to be while that hammer is running there. So what do you want to try and could just explain real quick what you're going to do before you go take your heat?
Sure. So the piece is in the fire and it's getting warm. And I did do a sound check with Helen. I think it'll work okay.
All right, well, let's give it a shot.
What I've done with the hydraulic press is give me an indent to go to.
I realized doing me as a host.
With the power hammer, it sets it down a lot better, a lot more effectively, but I don't have to fiddle with it very much. I can just put it down and go to work.
Glenn wants to know if you have any method for keeping the noise out.
I'm using noise canceling headphones. It just syncs it nicely. I can go a little more. I need more heat. So there we're getting down there. See, it may be still too hot to really tell. See how far down I've sunk it? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of gather it back up. So I'm going to push the sides in. When I do that, it makes it long, so I've got to bring the length down too. So I go here first and then there to just gather up that center so that I can sink a little deeper. So one more piece. How was the noise?
It actually wasn't too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah,
the audio is still a little rattled, but not too horrible. And you're using that swage that you showed us earlier at the beginning of the demo, correct?
A little positive. This is what I'm sending down in. Yeah, the one I made with the other block where I pushed that piece into it. And it looks like that little sun there is holding up. So that's kind of cool. Learn something new. So we've got a moment for this to catch up. And I think what I'll do is start the spoon piece. Get it heated up.
Billy O says, finally sounds like a blacksmith shop.
Power hammer idling along, and grinders going. Gorgeous.
We want to remind people that if you have questions, you can use the question and answer feature there to put those in. If you had a question about what Peter's doing, materials he's using, tools he's using, things like that, you can go ahead and pop them in there. Or the chat, we've got people monitoring that too.
So in the spirit of giving, helping to support the organization, the spoon I make today and that swedge block will go up for sale. And I don't know how to make that happen. I'll leave it to the people smarter at this stuff than I am to figure out how that works. But you're welcome to buy it, highest bidder, however it goes, and we'll ship it to you. So that's doing my part to help the organization.
There we go. So if you want to buy the spoon that is being made right now in the demo, you can go ahead and do that. Contact Peter. Would you like people to contact you or the association about that?
Why not go through the association and then actually payment goes through the association, and then we'll just go like that. And then get in touch with me, and then I'll ship it to whoever bought it.
Wonderful. So we'll have details about that coming out at some point after this demo for all interested parties. This is for the spoon. Billy's asking if you're selling the spoon or the swedge. It sounds like there might be some people interested in the swedge.
I'm selling both.
Hey, there you go.
I do have some other ones. So I'm actually going to make the spoon with this one because I've gone in and tidied up this edge a little bit because it can get a little overhang. And I've also welded this on. I'm not going to do that during the demo just for waste of time. But I will do that with the one I'm making now, and that's the one you'll be buying. And it comes with the spoon, so you get both parts.
And Mark Fairchild wanted to know, is it possible to sink that form with a sledge by hand, or is this something that you would recommend doing under a hammer?
You know, if you've got good hand control, yes, for sure. And in the beginning, because it rocks around so much, it's going to be hard. So you're going to want to take really good blows. I might recommend putting a platter on top so that you're assured of, you know, location on the piece and the piece on the block. But yeah, it is very doable. The nice thing about power hammer is that just goes straight up and down.
So his answer, Mike, was go ahead and try it, but make sure that you strike true. Otherwise, you're going to be knocking that swage around.
Yeah. And don't, you know, wind up for another shot right away because you're going to want to realign and all that. So here we go for another little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and gather stuff up. So not much. I take it almost back. You see that? So that elongated it a little bit. I found that pushing the length in more is helpful because it keeps the spoon more to size. This is good. Yeah. So let it cool down a little bit. I think we'll be able to see this. So here it is, sunk in, and I got it down pretty much level with the top. If you go much more, you get a hook right, and you don't want that, and you have to grind it off. And I'll go around and dress this anyway, so that when you're actually sinking the spoon shape in there, you don't get little cuts from that sharp end.
And so John Hofstetter wanted, pardon, sorry, go ahead, Peter.
I was just going to say, this is done. This is as far as it needs to go. So we'll set this off to the side, let it cool, and ask questions.
Beautiful. We got one question from John Hufstetter. Feel free to roll the rest in right now if you want, folks. John was asking, is the swage also 1018, or did you choose a different material for that?
It's scrap.
It's scrap, so just mild steel would be fine?
I think so, because all your work you're doing is hot. So you're forging a very thin piece of material, and you're doing it at heat. So this is actually, I made a hammer out of a section of this shaft, so I think it's 1045, but it's as forged. I don't do anything else. I don't heat treat it. When I weld on the seat, I heat it up a little bit, just because I don't know what the metal is for the has. But yeah, kind of anything will work, I think.
Yep. Hunter Dahlberger's waving the Super Quench flag. He's got that banner raised high. Hey, it looks like we've got some bids going on in the chat for the swage and the spoon already. Looks like we're up to, what did I see? I think I saw 45. Did I see 40? Yep, 45 is the bid right now.
Awesome. Keep it going, folks. I'm going to be here for a while.
Hey.
Okay, so here's the scrap that I'm starting with for the spoon. This is a piece of tie that came out of an industrial warehouse. I have no idea what it is. I'm assuming it's probably in the 1018 range, maybe 836. It was threaded, so it's got to be fair quality. So basically what I'm going to do is review a little bit. Can you guys see this pretty good?
Yeah, try getting it a little closer to the camera if you can.
Okay, sure. So basically what I'm going to do, first heat, is I'm going to, what's that?
A little too close, sorry. There we go.
Oh, okay. First heat, I'm going to neck this down, both sides to a taper, but not very far. And then the second heat, I'm going to do one side like this. And the goal is to have just a soft curve here. And basically what I'm doing is I'm isolating a bigger lump up here with a smaller lump in the front. And that just naturally forges or forms the spoon shape. Let me grab that and show you what I mean. You see this?
Yeah, that's lovely.
Okay. So I didn't do anything to the edges here. I didn't touch them. This is just pounding down flat on the top, moving the material as it was prearranged, and this is how it came out.
And what was that starting stock size?
Half inch.
Half inch round?
Half inch round, yep. So I basically, so my first move is this on both sides, and then this to make, so I'm developing this area, and then I come back and do this, the half face blows, and that gives me this neck down area. Okay, so that's what we'll do next.
Thanks for the reminder, Hunter. Yeah, people, when you're chatting in the chat box, please click the little drop-down box right above the input box to say all panelists and attendees so that we can all see it. Otherwise, you might just be talking to only the panelists, and that's no fun.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what people are saying. Might be confusing, but okay, so I've got that. Very basic, doesn't take much. And then just straight down. And then off the end. I don't want to go too thin because I still want some material out there. So now I've just done that pre-forming for the tip of the spoon. Straighten it out a little bit. And then at 1.25 inch mark, or maybe it's 1.5 inches actually, come back and I set it up with this in plane, so perpendicular or parallel with the table, and just mark it. Just a gentle, I don't know if you can see that. So now I'm ready to do the half face blows. Because I'm more comfortable doing it on this side, I start it here. And I take it so that this is at 90 degrees to the anvil. And I give it a whack. And I go the other way. And I use these as my marker so I know where I am. Is it too much coffee or not? I don't know. So that's set both of my kind of my starting points. Okay. Back in the fire we go. Straighten up a little bit. It's nice to keep it straight because it makes your accuracy better. At least that's the way it is for me. Keep it tidy. So we'll talk about, where'd that piece go? How to deal with the handle portion of it. So this, I was just messing around, made a ball back there. And then I decided I'd go with a more traditional way to go. And let's see that? Yeah. So as I was doing this was all parallel, but the taper was this way. So after I got it basically forged to shape, I took it on, let's see if I can do that. This little hammer here, which has drawing guides on it, and made the, I don't know if you can see it, that little ridge in the middle, which was kind of fun. And this little nub here is where I cut it off the stock. There's no filing, no grinding, nothing on this. I kind of like that. So now we've probably got some heat. So now, because I've got everything nicely marked, actually come up on this side, give it a couple of wax. Now we're in a little further, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So I want to use that same to keep that back angle moving back too. So I'm creating, see this, a fairly good V there. And that's going to help me not get any cold shuts. So we'll do one more heat, and that'll probably do it. Sometimes I'll go back in and on the back end of the spoon, I'll clean that up a little bit. I probably will on this one, just to make that shape roll out real nice.
Coming in hot from Joe Elliott, wondering where the spring swedge is.
Spring swedge? What do you need a spring swedge for?
He was saying for the leaf shape and necking it down. I think he's talking like a little kind of round swedge for necking the stem down.
Sure.
But Joe's probably got an idea about everything, huh? Love you, Joe.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
One
heat, he says.
Yep. Thanks for showing up, Joe. I've seen a lot of his press tooling and hammer tooling, and it's impressive. No pun intended. He's done a lot of this stuff, and he's made it look really easy. I'm gonna go here. One thing I found is when you set this down on the inside, you get a little tip. So you gotta keep that in mind when I say inside. Let's see if I got a little thing to point. When you hit, close, yeah, right in here from this way, there's a little bump that'll show up there. So you gotta make sure and allow for that. So tilt up onto it a little bit, or you start getting off your angle. And that's where that swedge would probably be really nice. So there's the basics. Now I'm going to open up this side a little bit and then go in and tidy up right in here a little bit.
We got a few more bids coming through on that swage and spoon. I think we're up to $50 now. Nice. Doing good. Drop those bids in the chat, y'all.
That's it. Make us proud.
And right now you're taking a heat and getting ready to go in and do which part of this now? That just neck the rest of that stem down?
Yeah, I'm going to open up that V some more. Can you see the forge?
We can see the forge. We can see the anvil. You're a little off to the side out of the shot, and it's a little low. But
okay.
But the angle gives us a great shot of what you're working. So we can't see your pretty face, but we can see your beautiful work.
Okay, that's better. Yeah, basically, let's get the prop here while that's taking a heat.
Whoa, Silas bringing it up to $100 on the swage and spoon. Silas said, I'm gonna make some money on that.
Nice. So what I'm going to work on next is this, opening up this angle, because you're going to have to do it anyway. And one of the things that I found to get this little detail there, little extra strength piece, when you line up with this on the edge of the anvil, when you're flattening it down, it allows you a way to keep repeating that angle without having to draw on the angle. It doesn't, it's real easy because you're lining up. Actually, your visual is you're lining up the edge of the anvil with this, and that transfers into the spoon area, and then you go from this side, and so it gives you a nice triangle, kind of as even as this is your triangle on the spoon. If that makes sense. Okay. So I'm a little bit off on my line.
We can't tell from here, Peter.
Okay. Well, you'll be able to tell when I go and sink the spoon. There, I was able to correct it a little bit. So if you can see this, so when I go to, let me grab the camera here. When I go to sink the spoon down, it'll make more sense after the shape is there a little better. Put that down. Light. If I can get this. So I line it up with that edge right there. And then I do it from this side too. And it just gives me a really nice, I'm shaking. Nervous.
You're doing great.
Gives me a nice edge to line up with. So I get a nice angle there. Okay, back to the fire.
I see that, using the edge of the anvil to line it up with your angle on top so that you get that relief on bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Did I just do something to cut it off?
Yeah. Oh, nope, you're good now.
Yeah.
Went black for a second, but we're good.
Put it in backwards.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Yeah, the really great thing about demoing is you got to figure out how this stuff works. So it makes your own education and knowledge base grow, because you're really analyzing how you're building this stuff and how you're going to present that knowledge, the things you do intuitively, to the public. So I think demoing is a great way to learn.
It is a wonderful way to learn.
Teach. It really is. Okay, I'm just straightening stuff out. So when I go to set this, I'm going to make it a little bit deeper. Okay. So when I go to set this, I like to do the first couple of blows with a round hammer, or a flatter faced hammer, just so I establish the faces, because it's really important. You want this neck to be right in the center. If it's not, it looks like hell after it's done. So we're a little bit off, not too bad. And then I come in with cross picking to help spread the bowl, just because I could need some real control over it. So grab another heat here. I could do it under the power hammer, but I like the hand hammering too. Something small like this, it moves really easily. And one of the things that I really like about this as a demo piece for the public is the look on their face when you start out with that shape and then just start hammering it, and before their eyes, a spoon shape appears. It's really fun. People that have never seen this and don't understand what you can do with it. So now I've taken it down to about the thickness of where it's neck down. I haven't gone beyond that. And at this point, I'll flip it over on the anvil and start working it from this side, so I don't have to worry about hitting up in here. So we'll take another heat and go from there. And that's when I start actually doing that triangle B on the back side of the spoon. So I've got about, it's about 1/8 of an inch thickness.
And you also sell these through your company, Northwest Skillet Company, is that correct?
Not these spoons. These are strictly a demo piece.
Gotcha.
I mean, if people wanted to buy them, I could do it, but I give them to the kids is really what I do. We had this one young girl watch through the whole demo. I was down in Union, which is at the south end of the valley here. And I was really surprised that she watched all the way through, beginning to end. And I presented her with the spoon, and her eyes just got huge. And her mom called, I don't know, 2 or 3 days later and says, you know, that was the best thing. She uses that for every meal. What do we need to do to take care of it so that it's safe? And so I'll just oil it with olive oil or your favorite vegetable-based cooking oil, and it's good to go. There's nothing on it that's going to hurt her. So that was really neat. Okay, here we go. So back with a rounding hammer. And again, I'm going with about 1/8 of an inch radius on the edge of the anvil. And once that shelf is established, it gives you something to push against. So I'm pushing down. I'm kind of pushing like that with my left hand. And now you can see how that line just transfers and lines up on this one side. So now we'll do the other side.
And in the interest of that last comment from Peter about demoing being a great way to learn, if you're watching this and you got a little idea in your head about a demonstration that you think would be cool, get in contact with your board members or your mentoring center demonstrators and let us know. We'd love to arrange that and get as much member participation in these demos as we can. They've been going really great. So let us know if you have an idea.
Okay, next one. And yeah, you know, it's been really cool. I've watched all but the first one. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there for Frank, but the ones I've watched have been really great, really enjoyable, and good knowledge share.
So now you're just going down that opposite side, Peter, and getting the angle in on that opposite side?
Yep. And it comes out pretty nice, and it's a nice long triangle, which I really like. Just it adds a nice touch of elegance to it. And then I just keep working from one side to the other until I get the shape kind of equal and what I'm really looking for. And this side is starting to look pretty good. And because I use the shaft on the back side of the spoon to help define that shape, it's really easy to just go back and forth. I don't have to worry about trying to find the angle again. Which before I was, drawing lines on the anvil and trying to line up with them. And it turned out to be more work than necessary for not as good a result. And that was one of the things I actually learned prepping for this demo, just kind of doing it over and over again and really trying to figure out the best and easiest, less pitfall way. I was going to say foolproof, but there's no such thing. There we are. We're looking pretty good. I'm just going to blend this out a little bit. Come back over here. I'm going to go with that. I like that. Pretty decent on the edge. Take the heat, and then I cut it off.
Can we get a close-up of that before this next heat, Peter?
Big handle anymore, because I'm gonna. Sure. Get it in the frame.
Oh yeah, that's looking real nice. Yeah, I see how it's kind of evened out along the rest of the
Shape.
spoon above that triangle now.
Yeah, shape size. It's pretty good shape. And I got, that's a hot swedge. Don't grab that one. So and if I've done everything properly, it's just going to lay right in there. And then because I've got this groove here, when I go to set it down in, I'm not going to distort that piece. I'll be forging this down to a handle, but it just fits right in. So Joe, if you're still out there, why don't you do a demo on your spring puller for necking down for leaves when you get back from Mexico? Love to see it.
We'd love to get a Joe Elliott demo
Totally
going.
would. Yep. He's on lockdown in paradise, though.
Right.
So for cutting this thing off, there's no real calculation. I just kind of do it. So I usually take something in the 1.5-inch range. And if there's extra, I cut it off. If there isn't, I incorporate it. Throw this over here. That's my pickups. Wasn't supposed to fall off. I'm going to grind this little, you can see that little rag right there. I'm going to go grind that off just because it's a fairly large one. Okay, just give you a quick, so that's where we are. And that should give me enough material to make the handle. And I think I'll do this on the power hammer just to expedite things a little bit.
Yeah, people always like to see the hammers running.
That's right. I always like to run them too.
All right.
Let's see. Is this a pretty good angle for that? If I just do that.
You're going to be on that middle hammer there?
I'm going to be on the, I would point the one on the screen. I'm going to be on this one.
The small one?
Yeah.
That should be good. Are you going to be off to the right side of your hammer there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that should be good.
Yep.
We should be able to see it. We're working everything. Is that what kind of hammer is that? Is that a little striker or something?
I have the one on the far right is a 33 Anyang. The one in the middle is a 88 Anyang. And then this guy is a 200-pound Bradley. That's a fun hammer. Big monster thing. It's kind of scary when it gets wound up. It's that 200 pounds of mass over your head.
Just mechanical mayhem going on.
Totally. Yeah. I'll start it up when we do the tour. Okay, that's pretty good. There we go. Okay. Used up enough time. We've got heat. And I found for the tongs that I have, these ones with this type of jaw configuration works best for holding the spoon without distorting it and without it being able to spin around. And it's basically because of that 3-point purchase that makes the difference.
And you're putting the...
Go ahead. You there?
Oh yeah, we're here. Joe's feed is getting squelched out. He says he's got to cut and run now.
Oh, bummer. See you, Joe.
Yeah. It looks like we've got a little bit of kind of audio or video distortion all around, but it's been okay. I think we should be good.
You know, I think because of the time of day, especially with Mother's Day, that so many people are using this thing. Cut off quite as much as it. I'll show you what I did. So I'm going to go for that same style of handle where I flared the back end. I'm going to try to draw it out a little bit more. I want to tidy up in here a little bit too. Filling it up with a little bit of that cold step. Or the starter one anyway. Take the trusty ball piece. Push it in. I'm just going to push those in.
Oh, we can't really see you over there at the anvil. We're still pointed over at the small hammer there, Peter.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. I was just going in. There's a little crack right in there. I was going to go and try to tidy those up a little bit, but I think I'm going to leave it because they're deeper than I thought they were. And that's the pitfall of having too, as far as I can tell, having too sharp of an angle. You do that neck down. You really got to sweep it out, because if you come up and then out, when that piece goes down, it collapses over. Half of each.
You're saying that those shuts appeared when you began necking it down, you necked it down too far, and then when you did the flaring over the edge of the anvil later, it pushed it up and created that, is what you're talking about?
The angle, let's see if I can.
Yeah, you're kind of off screen, off to the side there.
Okay. Just getting cropped.
Cool.
So this little bit right in here, if I have just the slightest overhang here or here, so it's not a nice smooth transition. This one's a pretty smooth transition, except for that part right there. That would actually turn into a shot because of the way it's going to go down. It's coming essentially straight down. And if this transition isn't super smooth, I'm finding that it'll create a little cold shot or some cracking. And as I'm forging this on the tip here, I always have that flare or that V up so that I can really see how much I'm moving. I don't want to put it on the downside because I'll be blind. Work a little bit of that out. Can you see me on the anvil at all?
No, you're going to want to tilt your camera a little more towards your anvil. You're kind of just off screen there.
Okay. Let's see if I can get the happy folks going.
Yeah. And then Glenn was asking what kind of dies you're using on the small hammer, and if we could get a peek at that in a moment.
I don't know. So these are Anyang off the shelf. So they're a nice radius drawing die. Okay. So when I go to the anvil, I'm just going to be tidying up what I did on the power hammer. So with that little bit of hammer work, I was actually able to clean up that shut. So we're a little bit off, but I think what I'm going to do now is just flare this back end a little bit for the appeal.
That's looking lovely, Peter. As we're nearing the end of this demo here, I want to remind everybody this is Peter Clark coming from Somerville, Oregon, his forge at Homestead Springs Farm and Forge, showing us in our 4th Northwest Blacksmith Association digital demonstration how to make a swage and then use that swage to make something such as a spoon like he's doing here. And he's coming up on his next heat right now to draw the neck and handle of his spoon that he's made out a little farther. And what is your website, Peter, if people want to go and visit your work? Thank you, Claire.
It's Northwest Skillet Company, all spelled out, one word, .com.
NorthwestSkilletCompany.com, NorthwestSkilletCompany.com. There we go. And we'll get that posted in the chat box here for you folks as well.
And we're also on Facebook and Instagram, of course. I'm going to draw it out just a little bit more. And you probably won't be able to see this, but I like to use 2 tongs when I'm doing a sideways. Okay. So now, last thing I'm going to do is straighten the spoon bowl out on the shaft so they run parallel or in line. And then I'll be ready to sink it into the form. Pretty good. I was hoping to keep it around an hour, and that's where we are.
Yeah, you're nailing it. We still have time for a little shop tour to squeeze in, too.
Oh, heck yeah. What good is a demo without a tour, right?
Yeah, people seem. What's that?
I was going to say, even when you fuss with it in the fire, it doesn't go any faster.
Nope. I'm constantly reminding myself to just let the heat come on. Don't jump it.
That's right. Let it do its thing.
Yep.
So very gently. Okay, that looks pretty good. Give it a quick little brush. Beauty. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, I'll take the camera over there so you can see it. I'm going to be going into the sledge. Okay, let's do this. Looks pretty good. So for those of you that are thinking about doing these demos or like to take videos with your phone or things like that, I made this little holder. And because I do a lot of machining, I get these things at auctions for next to nothing. And it's a magnetic base dial indicator holder. Super adjustable. And I just made a sheet metal case to hold my camera or my phone. Lined it with foam so I'm not hurting anything. And it's infinitely adjustable, very solid. magnetic to whatever I make it magnetized to. Doesn't seem to bounce around much or anything. Okay, we got heat. Gotta get my hammers. So I start out with this wider one because I'm back here and I don't want to sink it too deep. Kind of gets me a nice bowl shape. And then in the tip, I come out with this guy and just refine that shape up at the tip. And then I'll go back and kind of look at things and check on them and make sure it's coming out all right. I always love it when they fit. You want to keep it perpendicular or in plane with the top of the swedge, because if you don't, it'll be a crooked bowl. And I like how the bowl comes off of the handle itself. You want it nice and straight. Give it a little brush. And there's that. So you can see that? Yeah.
Looks
So
wonderful.
now we got that part done. So we want to sweeten up the handle a little bit. Maybe give it a little bit of a curve. Sexy iron. So we'll take another heat. And it, just by thinking it, oops, there we go. I got a little bit. Just get that little bit of start.
It's like the Matrix.
Yeah. As you're making this stuff, you see curves on things and relationships with finished form. And it's amazing how much of it was done as part of a previous step. You know what I mean? Like where if you're making a handle or something and you put the part that's going to mount against the door in the vise and you hold the top of it and you start pounding it, it just gets this nice graceful curve in there. And all you're really trying to do is get that corner right there. But you get all of it at the same time. Okay. Well, let's go over that. Kids or cats?
That's a cat.
Okay.
I've got both over here, though.
Doesn't take much to move this. Very gentle. Oh, there we go. I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah. I mean, including the swedge, someone's buying that for over $100 now, I think.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, as long as somebody's buying it, I'll put my name on it.
Oh, there we go.
Autograph it. The swedge doesn't have my name on it. I could do that, so, because I'll probably be heating it again. Whoa! I'm like grabbing a round surface.
Hunter's giving you a little demonstrator to demonstrator love. He's saying, awesome demo, Peter.
Nice. Thanks, Hunter. Fun. Yeah. There we go. Autograph.
Beautiful.
So we'll set that off to the side. And let's see, grab that other piece. Where did I leave those other tongs?
This is my favorite game.
What's that? This?
Finding the tongs.
Oh, I know. It's amazing. I just had them, and I've only been in a circle 10 feet around. Anyway, I'll try these instead. So there it is. Spoon
That
and
is
swedge.
beautiful. Look at that. That is lovely. That is wonderful. Well, let's take just a moment and do a sweep for questions and answers right now. But then after that, I think people are probably looking forward to a quick shop tour. Getting a lot of love from the audience right now in the chat box. People love the demo.
Awesome. Good. Thanks, everybody. It was a lot of fun.
Glenn's bringing the spoon and swedge bit up to 120. You still got just a couple more moments, people, if anybody wants to sneak up on that. But we got that was a wonderful little live auction we got going for the spoon. Thank you so much, Peter.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you all for attending and providing this great platform for sharing knowledge. I think this is really great. I hope it's something that really catches on. People go for. I enjoyed it, and I learned some stuff. A couple of good kind of tips out of this whole thing. So yeah.
So that was our fourth. Let me just switch back real quick, and then I'll go back to you for the shop tour real quick.
Okay.
That was our fourth Northwest Blacksmiths Association digital demo. These have been going off really well. This one came from Peter Clark in Somerville, Oregon, one of our members, and he made a swage and a spoon, a little tool to make a tool, and then used the swage to make the spoon, and then we got the spoon auctioned off. So that was wonderful. Thank you everybody for coming. We had a great time. We'll be coming back next time. We will have Silas Maddox coming from his forge and doing a demonstration for us for the next one. And now we're going to go back to Peter for a moment, and he's going to give us a shop tour and show us all the wonderful tools and things that he gets to work with. And then we'll go ahead and sign it off and see you next time. So here's Peter for the shop tour.
Okay. Skillet handles. So here's a LeBlanc lathe.
Go just a little slower on your shop tour, Peter. We've noticed on these that if people walk around and go from tool to tool too quickly, the video will freeze up.
Oh, okay. So here's that. And then we come over here, and I've got an old Waysong, probably not the best angle, mechanical shear. Really nice old machine. It's rated to 3/16. It is a ka-chunker. And that's where I cut up all my my blanks. And I've got a shaper here. This is on loan. Nice new one. One of these days, I'm actually going to finish those.
Ooh.
Killer bees. My spinning lathe. This is where I make all the pans. And blanks themselves. Here's the mandrels that I use. Am I going too fast or?
I don't know. That's great.
Okay. So all these things, these are mandrels right there. That's one up there. I've made all those. They're all solid steel, very heavy. This one gets its own lift. Spinning tools. This is my latest setup spot, pig table. I just finished this last week, and this floor was uneven, so I had to fill it with concrete and cut a piece of railroad track out of it. It was a total mess up here. Things you inherit. Drill station. Vise. This vise is the bomb. Heavy plate, it's 1 inch, probably 24-inch radius, 100-pound vise, and this thing just doesn't move. Pivots. And then, of course, you saw the power hammers. 33, 88, 200-pound Bradley. Stand him upright. And then, got fly press. Stand that upright. That's a number 6 tall. And I use this guy.
Oh, hey, Peter, just so you know, your screen orientation is not flipping when you go vertical like that. Yeah, just keep it like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Good, thanks for telling me. So this is great. I use this pretty much exclusively for drifting holes. And this I got from Helen, I can't think of his last name, who does the same cameras. So you notice that base is splitting as I go down.
Oh, wow.
He
yeah.
shared a video doing that, and I immediately had to figure out how to make one and make some. And that thing is awesome. I've drifted thousands of holes with this setup, and it's just super great. Some people ask why I don't use hydraulics. This is more controllable, it's quiet, and it's just as easy. I don't have a machine running all the time. I'll show you what we got over here. Little grinder station, meter grinder, and the best part is an industrial dust collector for sparks.
Oh, yeah.
That is cool. Found
Keep
that
it
at
clean.
a junk. Yep, found that at a junkyard for 175 bucks.
Score.
Yeah, buffer, nice 2-bar buffer, 220, and the beastly rat hole anvil.
That's a nice one.
And this is going to be a hard one to see. Another fly press. This is a number 4 regular, and I use that for kind of all the basic tooling and things like that. And that's the assortment of fly press tools that I use.
It's quite the collection right there.
And the tongs and everything. And then you saw this guy. And the bandsaw, sort of the backbone of the shop. Actually, the real backbone of the shop is this guy. Right there.
The literal backbone.
The literal backbone. So when we bought this place, this building, you can see the roof is sheeted now. The rafters were at the height of these, where is it? There it is. The rafters were at the height of these girders, and they were all broken. So I took them all out, put these girders in, and when I did that, I was like, well, there's the support for a H-frame crane. So I went ahead and did it, and I probably have about $3,000 into it, $3,500. Probably the best money I ever spent.
Yeah, your back will thank you in 20 years, I'm sure.
Oh, it thanks me already. I mean, so I have a heat source here that I use, and I have a heat source here that I use. They're across from each other. And when I go to this guy and I'm working from that heat source, it's backwards. So with the hoist, I just pick it up and flip it around. That's 500 pounds. I don't even, it's like nothing. So it's super easy. It makes everything super easy.
Nice.
So yeah, there we are.
It was a wonderful shop. A lot of interest from audience members about your spinning equipment, and a couple of people commenting their hopes that they would be able to see a spinning demo in the future sometime.
That would be very doable. I'm changing the direction now. Yeah, I would be happy to do that. I've done quite a few of them. I'm just walking over to it now. Yeah. It's a fun thing. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever learned because there was nobody out there to teach me, nobody I could talk to. So it was just trial and error for over a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there it is.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for everyone who attended. That was another wonderfully successful demo. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.